this one little function on the phone. So I'm a minute late. I apologize. How's it going, everyone? Let me see who's here. Hey, Jimmy. Thank you for being here. Hey, Scorpio. Hi, Darcy. Who else we got in here tonight? Hi, Alicia. What's happening? I'm glad you're here. Hi, Jennifer D. Hello. Hi, Just Me. Hi, Bunny. Hi, Jennifer. How's everybody doing this evening? We're going to channel some messages tonight from the Twilight Zone. Hi, Bethany. What's happening? We're going to use this fun little vintage trading card deck of Twilight Zone episodes. We're going to channel messages off of that tonight. Hey, Garrett. Hi, Cristobal. Well, I'm glad you got to do some awesome exploring today. Just me? That's fun. Sabrina, what's up? Good to see you, Sabrina. Haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, we talk about the 5D a lot. We talk about the imagination around here. So thought it was pretty cool that the band wanted to use this little deck tonight. Is YouTube not cooperating, Bunny? What's up with YouTube? Why isn't it cooperating? I'm gonna wait just a minute. Let some more people come in. Set, hello. Love your emojis, Bethany. Oh, Sabrina, we all need to hibernate sometimes. We understand. Sometimes it's necessary, isn't it? To get into a little bit of hibernation mode. Step back. Hi, along the shore. Thank you. Hey, Sai. Oh, you're giving a bath to some baby ducks, Sai? Oh, that sounds like the best Saturday ever. I love that set. That's exactly what to do when we start getting a lot of downloads that feel overwhelming. You intuitively did the right thing to write. I love that. Oh God, I bet they're so cute, Sai. Hi, Stacy. All right. The space between shadow and light. Where science and the spooky come together. It's a door to the imagination. All right. Let's see where we're going to go first. Long distance call. Billy Bailey's ailing grandmother gives him a toy telephone for his birthday, which will allow him to communicate with her even after she's gone. Indeed, Billy's deceased grandmother suggests Billy might do in order to join her in the great beyond. Well, is this not a coincidence for this backstage dressing room? Billy's dead grandmother is speaking to him through a toy. Let's see how some passed over loved ones are trying to speak to you at this time. You have a long distance call from some passed over loved ones. How are they trying to communicate with you, and what do they want to say? Hey, Ice Wolf, tell me about this passed over loved one communication. The Emperor. Oh, someone's too caught up in their daily to hear it. Having a hard time staying in the present moment, got lots to do. I get that with the Page of Cups and the King of Cups. Being asked to pay attention to your intuition at this time. Seven of Swords. Who's all up in their head with strategy right now? Too much in strategy in the 3D world here. That your dead grandmother is hanging out on the phone waiting for you to pick up. What's going on here? Tell me about this intuition here. Tell me about tapping in. Ace of Pentacles, Three of Swords in reverse. Okay. Some of you have a passed over loved one that is trying to communicate with you, okay? There's I see what's going on here. This is grief. Okay, there's some grief here, and there's some avoidance of this communication to the beyond, because it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that this person is not in the 3D with us anymore. But they want to hand you some form of communication, some talisman to communicate here with the Ace of Pentacles. Tell me about this Wheel of Destiny. They want to speak to you about your Ten of Pentacles. They want you to get out of this wounded warrior hardship energy. I say wounded warrior even though we're looking at the 10 of Pentacles, because we have the 5 of Cups here. There's burden, there's regret, there's deep, feeling of defeat, some grief. Someone is feeling very overwhelmed, but there's a passed on loved one that wants to speak to you about your 10 of Pentacles. Someone is working really hard in the third dimension right now. Someone is full of works, full of strategy. I'm looking at lots of swords here, but you're being asked to go into the Page of Cups energy. This is the childlike energy of intuition, okay? Because that's where you're going to find this phone. That's where you're going to find this synchronicity to communicate with a passed over loved one here. This will also help heal your grief. It's not going to hurt more. It will help you heal your grief. Hi, Melanie. Tell me more about this Ten of Pentacles. They don't want to tell me more about this Ten of Pentacles. There's someone from the beyond that wants to talk to you about your Ten of Pentacles. They're saying it is finished. Jump into your cups energy. Jump into your cups energy so that you can have this communication. Tens are good. There's the wounded warrior. Step out of that wounded warrior energy. It's finished. You have a 10 of swords and a 10 of wands here. This very much feels like the energy actually to not long after someone passes away. Typically one of the first stages of grief is to be so damn busy, is to make ourselves so damn busy that we don't have to feel it. And this is absolutely the energy that I'm getting off of this. But there is a passed over loved one that wants to communicate with you, which will require you to get in your cups energy. Look for the synchronicities, look for the creative outlet, look for the creative way by tapping into the imagination, tapping into the fifth dimension to where this communication is coming from. They want to speak to you about your 10 of Pentacles. All right, next message. What do you got next, band? You drive. You drive. Oliver becomes a hit and run driver when he runs down a kid on a bicycle. The police have no luck finding Oliver, but his car doesn't let him off the hook so easily. With a life all of its own, the car eventually runs Oliver into the ground, forcing him to confess. Who's carrying around a burden that they need to confess? That's energy's a little heavy. The car is representative of the conscience. Someone has something that's weighing so heavily on their conscience right now that it's driving them into the ground. And it's a simple release of confession. Well, guess what? This is a no penance space of confession, okay? So, talk to your spirit guides right now. Get it off your chest. What is this confession? What's going on in the conscience that is so heavy? The Lovers, the Tower. Why the Lovers? The Ace of Wands. The Hanged Man. Okay. So some of you made a mistake. Hindsight is 2020 is the energy that it's showing me here. Someone caused a tower. They made a choice that they're not really happy about. This could possibly be about a relationship. We'll look at that a little deeper with the Lovers card. When you went in for a higher perspective, realize that all glitters is not gold, okay? That this Ace of Wands, well, it didn't turn out the way that you thought. Someone needs to express their feelings here to another human, but they're extremely guarded. But this guardedness with this Seven of Wands is a very heavy burden on the conscience right now. Tell me more about this Lovers card. Death and the Hierophant. Ooh, that's heavy energy. That's heavy energy. Someone really nixed a relationship here. Someone's really in regret for their actions. Tell me more about this Death card. Six of Swords. What's the advice for this? What's the advice for this energy? The Devil, Justice in reverse. Okay, the first advice is if this resonates with you, stop beating the ish out of yourself. Nobody's perfect. Maybe you didn't exit in the right way. Maybe you didn't express what you needed to express. Maybe you had some rose-colored glasses on, okay? Maybe it looks like there was another relationship here that looked really shiny. All right. And in hindsight, a tower happened. You feel like you got smacked in the face, concerned about how you treated this person. It's weighing heavy on your conscience. I'm not saying that it's going to change the perspective of this other person, but what matters is feeling balanced in the conscience again, in the conscious. Are we still in retrograde? In the conscious again. Tell me about this Justice in reverse. Page of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles. You want to go back to this person and make them an offer. You see the Ten of Pentacles with them now. Nine of Pentacles. King of Swords in reverse. Okay, your words were not kind. What you did here was not kind. But this is Earth School. So even if you can't seem to make a confession to this person, something has to change in the conscious. Future actions will change. Learned a really hard lesson from this. A really, really hard lesson. But it's your conscience that's running you down if you resonate with this, not the other person. And it's time to let go of that any regret, guilt, and shame, bad feelings around this. At the end of the day, you need to be straight with yourself and not with anyone else. If going back to a confession with this person is what you feel you need to do, then you do it. Going to the confessional booth is what you feel you need to do, you do it. Getting with your spirit guides is what you feel you need to do, you need to do it. But you need to get your conscience off the hook here. We all make mistakes. All right. What else oh geez. I used to shuffling these, they're tiny. You're an Elvis nut, Sabrina. Oh, I think I knew that about you. So am I. Hi, Pluto. Hi, Pluto. What's happening? Mute. Nielsen has been raised to communicate only telepathically. Her parents died in a house fire, leaving her trapped in a world with no way to communicate. An insensitive, rigid schoolmarm tries to teach her how to talk. This is about feeling misunderstood, about your neurospiciness, about how you communicate. An insensitive person tried to change the way that you communicate at one point in your life. I think that's a lot of our story around here, isn't it? What do we need to know about your telepathic communication? Tell us about your telepathic communication. Hey, Sadie Bell, what's happening? Welcome in. What do we need to know about your extrasensory forms of communication, your telepathy? Look at that. Yeah. Someone wounded. Someone wounded someone over the way that they communicate. There'd be a teacher, a mentor, a parent. What more do we need to know about this? It's a repeating message. Ace of Swords in reverse. King of Pentacles. That you would not be able to, Four of Pentacles, geez, that you would not be able to be stable and survive in the world if you didn't communicate like the rest of the world. Who is this insensitive marm that did not use their imagination? What more do we need to know about this? The choice. The choice. I like this. Many of you have made the choice. You've made the choice with the Lover's card and the Empress to step into your Empress energy, knowing that the Empress holds all of the decks, all of the queens, okay? And she can communicate in many, many ways. That's why the planchette is always on the Empress card, okay? She can communicate in the fifth dimension and in all realms, and she does hold the communication of the swords. If that story resonated with you, what the band wants you to know is that this was a big battlefield of the mind. This was a very big battlefield of the mind, but one that you chose to win, which is why you're standing in this Empress energy. Tell me more about the Empress. I love that. Four of Wands, the victory, the justice. There's justice in this for you. There's justice in you finding other people, victories, and other people that you can communicate with in these ways. Wow, and you can communicate with the divine. There's an emperor and an empress here. Divine pairings, soul connections of people that you can communicate with in extrasensory forms of communication. Also, you have clearly found your connection and communication with the divine, as in the Nine of Pentacles. This is the what we call the mini empress in the tarot deck, and the bird on her hand is actually representative of spirit, of a spirit guide. So there are many, many signs in these cards about all the ways that you can communicate, and you have figured these out, or you are learning them at this time, and it is putting you in this emperor empress status around other emperors and empresses. And this did not come easy, okay? There was a lot of rejection from the world in this, with the Ace of Swords in reverse and the Nine of Wands. It created a lot of wounding in the past, but you have worked past this. There's a lot of confidence in this reading. There's a lot of confidence, and that confidence brings on this justice, this balance. I really like this energy. This is just energy of someone who, you know, got a little beat up for being weird. This is more than a little beat up, but you understand what I'm saying here. You've conquered. You've conquered into your true, not only your true identity, but understanding that there were reasons for this other communication. The world is catching up to you, is what they're telling me. The world is catching up to you, not the other way around. Hello, Victoria. I don't know if I welcomed you in. Hello. Hi, Mario. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Sadie Bell. Yeah, Sadie Bell, it is sad that we are so fixed on only becoming a part of society, and that's how society rolls. Because all humans have an inherent need for love and desire, and the world, culture, only wants us to do that through conformity. I think that's also very clear within our education system. Hey, Moxie, welcome in. Welcome in. Hey, Katie, welcome in. Thank you. All right, what else we got here? 9 years without slumbering. Sam's most prized possession is a grandfather clock, which he had for 76 years. He believes that when the clock stops ticking, he'll die. His family believes that he is a bit cuckoo, and they sell the clock to a neighbor who neglects to wind it. This is someone who is potentially struggling with the entire concept of time. This is somebody trying to beat the clock, somebody trying to beat the system. This is like memento mori in reverse. This is someone who is in fear of dying rather than knowing their death. Tell us about a fear of dying. That's the energy I'm picking up on right now. Someone's in a fear of dying. Someone's very sarcastic about death, and it's really because they have a fear of dying. Am I picking up on that energy? Hey, Mark. Glad you're here. Hi, Glenn. Why am I picking up on an energy of someone who's afraid to die? Tell me more about this. Five of Swords, Four of Swords, Knight of Cups. The King of Cups. There's lots of cups here. There's lots of cups here. This is why I'm picking up on an energy that is continually in the defense mode about every second of their time. And the root is a fear of dying. The Four of Swords and the Five of Swords. Why the King of Cups? The Queen of Cups. The Three of Cups. The Empress. This is I'm picking up on a lot of grief energy tonight. This is someone who I'm picking up on an energy that basically the perspective on life completely changed when a loved one died here. And rather than handling the emotions of grief, there's a constant striving to like manipulate time, to beat the clock. I feel like I'm picking up on this same energy again that we picked up at the beginning of this. Someone's in a lot of grief right now. The World card in reverse. Ten of Swords. What is this energy that's in a lot of grief needs to know? Because it keeps coming through. Something that keeps coming through. Oh, denial of the Tower. Not wanting to start a new foundation. Tell me more about the Tower. Wanting things to go back the way that they were, which are illusions. Tell me more about the Seven of Cups. Knight of Swords in reverse. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, I keep picking up on an energy of somebody who's in grief, okay? And what they're telling me here is that there's a fear of starting over. They're actually tying to me on who was I just talking to in that comment? They're talking to me about that comment. These are other people's beliefs, cultural beliefs. What's going on is that there's someone who is in severe grief, okay? It's no way discounting that. But what's happening here is there's an avoidance of a tower. There's a desire to stay in the past. And how this energy is staying in the past is by living their present life in a constant state of feeling that they need to honor the person who passed on. And yes, we honor our loved ones who have passed on, we honor our ancestors. But that does not become the identity of the person that's still alive. There is someone on a race to leave because of grief of a loved one, as opposed to creating a new chapter, creating a new timeline in life. They believe that their identity that they need to carry out on this planet is completely wrapped around honoring the one that died. And what I see here is that's not a. And so it's just not a happy space to be in at all. This person doesn't want to live this way, but they feel almost like it's their duty to live this way. What's the advice on this energy? You feel that nobody understands you with the Nine of Wands and the Three of Pentacles. Just want to go back to the past, to the Ten of Pentacles with this passed over loved one. I understand. I can feel this energy. But where we dreams. Interesting. Your dreams will ground you. No one ever says that, right? What they're showing me here with the Three of Wands and the Star card and the Three of Swords in reverse is there was a dream. You had a dream in your life. You had a North Star in your life before you lost this person. Maybe it was before you even were in relationship with this person, okay? There was a dream that was put on your heart at some point. This is representative of dreams, okay? And your guides want you to go back to that dream, go back to that North Star, go back to whatever that was for you, even while you're here in the healing phase, okay? Because it's going to start to mend this broken heart because you have another chapter. There's another chapter. There's a reason why you're still here in your meat suit. Is there's another chapter here that you are supposed to be carrying out, and it is one that is going to be quite fulfilling to you. And right now it's buried in your imagination. It's in the dream space. It's a dream. It's something that you were never able to maybe fully commit to or accomplish, okay? Because life is like that, right? We have family, we have loved ones, we get married. And so they're showing me here that there is something, there is something that is going to help you understand your death rather than waiting every tick every second of the clock to death in that fashion of memento mori, knowing your death. So, in that, taking hold of every second and making it precious. Whoever resonates with this, if I'm speaking to someone who resonates with this energy, it's in the imagination. It's something that you've always wanted to do, and now is the time to do it. And dreaming about this and thinking about this and 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 drawing it, and maybe you're in a space in your grief where you're not able to take action on it at this time, having a hard time, right, juggling emotions, mental health, all of those kind of things. You may not even have to take action on it right at this second. It may not be about taking action about on it, but it's about something to help fill and heal that heart space. Okay, and there's a reason why you're still here. And it's going to be wonderful. You are going to have another wonderful chapter and be back in the Ten of Pentacles. And if this message related with you and you have lost someone dearly that you love, I'm sorry. But there's something buried in your heart. Your chapter now is not to spend the rest of your life honoring the one that has passed on, but honoring yourself with what is to come in your next chapter. Picking up on a lot of grief energy tonight. What else you got for us, band? You have a big lake. I love lakes. Lakes and rivers. What are you guys planning, a bonfire party? What's going on over here? Yes, to live and love your life again can be very hard to do after grief, but it is possible. Sigh's got everyone thinking about parties and the bonfire. Okay, what else you got, Van? What else you got for us? A world of his own. Cool artwork. Playwright Gregory West has a tape recorder that allows him not only to dictate his scripts, but also to summon the very characters he describes. He can also expunge them at will by throwing the tape into the fireplace. Gregory is creating his own reality through his imagination. Tell me about creating your own reality through your imagination. Man, I keep picking up on this grief energy and I gotta move on. They're telling me to just grab another deck. Give me one moment. Creating a world of your own in the 5D. Creating a world of your own through your imagination. Gregory manifests these things in his imagination, is able to bring them into the 3D. Is also able to have them exit at any moment. The Star, the Knight of Pentacles, the King of Wands, and the Knight of Cups. Tell me about the star here. Tell me about the star. 10 of Cups. The Three of Cups. This is all about contentment. This is all about emotional fulfillment. Creating a reality that's full of emotional fulfillment, King of Wands. You have the ability to do that because you're magical AF. You have the ability to create a world in where you are emotionally fulfilled. What does that world look like? What do you imagine this world to look like as the star? One that can write their own play. You are not a puppet. What does this contentment look like to you? A lot of times we don't get to this celebrating contentment because we've never actually asked ourselves what that even looks like. What does it look like? Four of Cups. What are you not seeing? What are you not seeing, and what do you desire? What do you truly desire? That's what we use our imagination for, is to get down to what is it that we truly desire. It's a space where you can create freely, but you not knowing what you want to create. Someone does not know what they want to create. They're not sure what they truly desire. And guess what? Just like a play, you can create the world and you can wipe it out and start all over again if you are unsure of what you desire. Nothing is permanent. Okay, Moxie, I can get you your feedback on your fairy tale. I have actually, the next 10 days, I cleared some things off of my schedule to catch up. So if you would like to send me your fairy tale, I will take a look at it. Mark, a world where media can't lie. Oh man, wouldn't that be an amazing world? That would be an amazing world. Now we can create that world as best as possible for ourselves by being very careful about what we consume. Tell me more about this victory here with the Six of Wands, the Ace of Cups, the Page of Cups. Yeah, this is all about the imagination, the Ace of Cups with the Page of Cups. Okay, this is getting into inventiveness, creating things that you're even willing to destroy, is what they're saying to me. Creating things that you're even willing to destroy and not look at it as a failure and then start again. Because sometimes we don't know what we truly desire until we experience something that we don't desire. This is all about getting creative. Can we get creative and not look at things as a failure? Can we just simply wipe it off of the board? Can we just simply be okay with throwing it in the fireplace and not look at that as a failure, but look at it as a stepping stone? Tell me more about the star. The Magician. The Seven of Pentacles. This is progress. This is progress of manifestation. Using the imagination, finding things that are emotionally that we find to be content in the emotional space with. Not comparing it, and also being okay if we're willing to throw it in the fire and start over. Not feel this attachment to it. Be okay with the loss of it and to be on to the next. This is assessing what we consider failure, and is it really failure? Because it's not. Because you can continue to create, you can just recreate over and over and over again. The feeling of fear of failure is really a projection, it's someone else's projection. What you working on, Lala? Yeah, Bethany, I'll paint over my paintings too. Done it many times. What you got for us? What you got for us? What you got for us? The trouble with Templeton. Ooh. Templeton, an aging actor, has been hired to perform in a play directed by a young upstart. At the first rehearsal, he has the most extraordinary experience that allows him to step back in time and emerge with a new vitality. Aging in reverse. What are you doing to make yourself feel younger at this time, Star Child? What things give you vitality? This is about inspiration. What is inspiring you at this time? What are those things that set your heart on fire, that give you that fire energy, that give you vitality? Templeton did not let his age stop him from doing the thing that makes him feel vitality. And it ended up being an extraordinary experience, as if he had stepped back into time. A time where he would allow himself to do these things, and it set his heart on fire. Is there something that you used to allow yourself to do that you do not anymore, that sets your heart on fire? The Lovers, tell me more about this. The Three of Swords, the High Priestess, the Six of Cups. I'm picking up on energy of someone who was told that they were being selfish. They were being selfish by following their desires. And this is a past tape that continues to linger on. You've been given ultimatums in the past. You've experienced disappointment in relationships with others. Okay, in the sense of there there's a lot of mental here about that, you pursuing your own desires, the things that set your heart on fire, the things that give you vitality, are actually selfish, people have been disappointed with you in the past and have created ultimatums when you've wanted to follow your heart. Sounds like they don't know what sets their heart on fire, huh? This sounds like a really ugh. This is someone who has no identity of their own. This is someone who lacks any type of authenticity. Whoever was projecting this type of energy. But here's the High Priestess, the inner wisdom. It's something around your High Priestess energy, something that you desire as the High Priestess. But people in the past said you were being selfish for following this. Tell me more. Tell me more about this. Tell me more about the High Priestess. What sets the high priestess's heart on fire? What sets the high priestess's heart on fire? Oh, stop. This energy keeps coming through. You're not logical enough. You're not determined. You're not reliable. You're not focused on your goals as you go towards your heart's desire. Mastership. What do you want to master here? Something that you dream about. Something that you dream about. You want mastership in with the Three of Wands. What is this dream about, High Priestess? It's an there's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity that you keep that if you resonate with this, you keep denying yourself of, okay, with the Judgment in reverse and the Sun, but there's clarity in this. There's a truth in this. This is part of your dreams. This is something that lights your heart on fire, but man, it feels like more than one energy in your lifetime has come up against you, saying that you're illogical, you're unreliable, giving you ultimatums, telling you they're disappointed, okay, and you following your desires, you're not being generous with your energy. Oh man, ow, that energy is horrible. That's a nagging human being that has like no ugh, overly dependent on other people. Yuck. Yuck. Tell me, what's the clarity here? Tell me more. What's the clarity here? Because there's vitality in this. Nine of Pentacles. What's the mastery? What's the mastery? What's the mastery? What's the mastery? Wow, there's like a cloud over this. What's this mastery? What is this dream? Tell me, tell me. The Hanged One, inventiveness, introspection, inventiveness, and a higher perspective. That's what the High Priestess does. We already know this. We already know this. Tell me more. Wow, I feel like someone has to cloak their High Priestess energy around some people. What's up with that? What's up with that? Because someone's scared to detach from these energies. Is it family? Is it family? Is that why it's hard to detach? And why your High Priestess energy needs to be cloaked? Tell me about this introspection. They're telling me some of you want to have a child. For some of you, it's a child. With the Ace of Wands. And for some of you, it's a venture into magic. It's a venture into mastership of magic. It seems like some of you want to go into a spiritual business. They're giving me two messages. Some of you want to have a child, and for some of you, it's like I say spiritual business. I don't know. Do you want to be like? Do you want to be a witch full time? And that's cool. That's what I'm doing in my 40s. Somebody wants to work on the mastery of their High Priestess energy. For some of you, it is wanting to have a child here, but it's almost like there has to be a cloak on your High Priestess energy because of this feels like energies. I hope there isn't one human that's holding all of this baggage. Okay. Oh god. Ugh. um and why? What's the final advice here? Because there's there's a fear of detaching. There's some kind of fear of detaching from this energy that is an energy vampire, y'all. This is an energy vampire. I mean, despite holding ourselves back from things that give us vitality, like this person is, oh my God, this is a not a bloodsucker, not a bloodsucker of the good variety. There's something that this has got to be a family. This has got to be family. Um, because there's like it feels like if you resonate with this, there's a lot of people in your ear, but there's something that you're not seeing on the other side of this detachment. And what's on the other side of this detachment is satisfaction with the Nine of Cups. It's joy, being able to pour into self. Not being able to be our authentic selves because we feel in servitude. We feel in servitude to someone or something. This really feels like a family. It feels like there's a lot of like cultural energy behind this too, okay? Because there is, right? There's a lot of beliefs about in culture, like staying with the family, um, doing things for the family, which is not a bad thing. Doing things for our family is not a bad thing. But this family, this energy, this family is like, I mean, there's just no there's no space here. There's no breathing room. This is these people are highly dependent and emotionally manipulative with the King of Swords in reverse and giving someone ultimatums about going after what really sets their heart on fire. How do we define family? Blood is not the only thing that defines family. Looking at how we really define love. Woo! One of those energies was heavy. It was like I wanted to put in earplugs. It's like someone who's a nagger. Nagger. Hi, Onyx. What's up? Run, right, Jennifer? That's right. Run. Onyx, it's good to see you. It's good to see you, Onyx. Hold on, I wasn't paying attention. Okay. These are hard to shuffle, but they're fun. And they have that old book smell. Do you know what I mean? I love that old book smell. Black leather jackets. What's up with the black leather jacket gang? Ooh! Black leather jackets. 3 aliens arrive on motorcycle in suburbia. Why don't do I live in that neighborhood? I hope I live in that neighborhood. Where they rent a house and prepare to set up an infectious bacteria that will kill everyone on Earth. But, but, one of the alien men falls in love with the girl next door. How very interesting. This is about biases. This is about biases that hold us back from being in relationship. This is about beliefs that hold us back from being in relationship. This energy is coming through a lot tonight, too. This is very strong cultural biases that may be holding us back from connecting with others, just like that Marm school teacher who could not really connect with that child, who could speak telepathically, but instead was choosing to push her system. Thanks, Aaron. On others. Aborting a mission of bias for love. Tell us more about this alien love. Tell us about this alien love. The Hierophant, the Six of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Why the Ace of Pentacles in reverse? Ten of Swords. Someone intuitively knows that they will have a victory with another, is what they're showing me here with the Queen of Cups, the Ten of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, the Six of Wands, and the Hierophant. Intuitively know that they will have a victory with someone that is quite different from them. Someone that maybe their family does not agree with. Someone's getting some messaging about someone that they clearly intuitively know that they're going to have a victory with. There's a contract. That there's a contract that will be successful here. Let's see. What is your intuition telling you about this if you resonate with this, and what is the world telling you about this? We're going to clarify the Ace of Pentacles in reverse and the Queen of Cups. First of all, what's the world telling you about this strange love, this alien love, that it's paranormal, that it's witchy, that it's bad magic, and that it will end up in poverty? That it's weird. And weird is poverty. Weird is a poverty mindset. That's interesting message, Ban. Actually, it's quite the opposite. Whatever part of the world is channeling that to you really lives in some very restrictive constructs. As if we look at art and culture, it is actually weird that is quite abundant. The weird become leaders. They become the entrepreneurs. Oh, but see, it's different. It's different. See how those kids look scared on that card? There's something different. There's something different about a connection that that the world doesn't like. Tell me what what is your intuition telling you about this connection with the Queen of Cups? What is your intuition telling you about this connection? The Sun. Again, a lot of clarity here. A lot of clarity. Oh, but there's some double-mindedness here because there's also a Seven of Swords. Tell me more about this truth, this clarity. A little bit of double-mindedness, so not completely listening to the intuition. Okay, that's normal. Making progress on these self-defeating thoughts. 777 here. Detaching, choosing to detach. Choosing to detach from the words of others to get clarity on this strange love, this alien love. Because at the end of the day, it is your decision. It is no one else's. It is very hard, though. We all have biases that sometimes even shock us when we're introspective, right? Have you had those moments before where it's like, whoa, where is that coming from? That's so deep rooted in me that I didn't even realize it. That's right. We won. The Matrix is losing. Jennifer, why are you feeling lonely? Jennifer, I'm 46 and I've been on one date in my life. Literally, one date. You're not alone in that. Okay. Queen of the Nile. Queen of the Nile. Sultry movie star Pamela Morris uses a scarab to suck the energy out of young people whom she meets to transfer the energy to make herself immortal. Her latest victim is Jordan Herrick, a handsome young newspaper reporter. This is why we don't date, Sabrina. This is why we don't date. Oh, there's a lot of that energy sucking vampire kind of energy coming in tonight. This is strange energy. Picking up actually on an energy of someone who is older, who likes to suck off of the vitality of younger people. They become an energy sucking vampire in the sense of that they actually constantly surround themselves with people that are quite younger with them, um, in order to feel younger, to feel vital. They can't find that vital space within themselves. There doesn't feel anything nefarious about this, except for the fact that the energy that I'm picking up on is looking outside of themselves for this vitality. Let's see if this is where that's going, but this is totally the energy I'm picking up on off this card. Huh. Which deck you want me to go to? Let me go to this deck. Okay. Let's do this. Tell us more about this energy vampire. Tell us more about this energy vampire. What's up with the energy vampire? The Wheel of Fortune. The Justice in reverse. The Devil. This is the energy of someone who does not like to be alone. I don't know why this is coming through, but with the Nine of Swords in reverse, the Hermit card in reverse, the Devil, the Justice in reverse, the Wheel of Fortune, what they're showing me here is there's an energy of someone who does not like to be alone. So they constantly surround themselves by other people. They tend to surround themselves by people that are younger than them, because it gives them some kind of vitality, some kind of energy boost. You see how that person is sitting there like on the on that stool, like really intentively listening to that person, the person who's supposed to have the wisdom here that's turning the Wheel of Fortune. Why? Because they're older, right? More life, more experience. They tend to surround themselves by a lot of young people. But the intention is weird. Why are we talking about this? Because really, at the end of the day, this person just doesn't like to be alone. Why are we talking? Where is this energy coming from? Why are we talking about this? What does the Star Tribe need to know about this energy? Why is this energy coming through? Judgment in reverse. Yes, this human is completely not self-aware. That's kind of obvious here. What else? The Emperor. The Nine of Wands. I'm getting a repeating message here with the Emperor, the Nine of Wands, the Four of Cups in reverse, and the Magician. There's this is just like, it's like energy harvesting. It's like there's someone who energy harvests to feel vitality, to feel younger, in order to be the Magician. Tell me about the Magician. To avoid a tower. This is an energy that is not at all self-aware, that is doing everything to stay young, has no self-awareness, no self-acceptance. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Why the Knight of Pentacles in reverse? The Two of Cups in reverse. The King of Cups in reverse. Oh, because this is an energy that is not in, we know is not self-aware, is not in union of self. This is the energy of someone who also is incapable of being in partnerships, like in deep, like, emotionally connected relationships, right? Because then they'd have to kind of get real about some things. They'd have to be vulnerable. They don't have to be vulnerable when they're around younger energies, because they're looked at as the wise one. But this person is completely self-aware, completely unself-aware of why they do this, why they harvest this energy, why it creates this shield that they're able to keep their distance from others, their distance in the sense of having to be vulnerable. And this energy does not in any way like to be by themselves. Okay, they like always have to be around other people. I don't know why that came through. I'm not sure why the energy came through. I don't feel like that's anyone here, at least in the chat, but maybe it's to give you the 411 on someone. I don't know. That was kind of weird energy. Yeah, Sabrina, we very much recently enacted a much stricter moderation policy. As the channel has grown, we get a lot of weird stuff on these lives, which is probably why I'm picking up on a lot of this weird energy. Okay, this very emotionally immature energy that I just picked up on. So the moderators are sniping it out. All right. What else we got here? Hey, Curtis, welcome in. The Last Rites. The Last Rites of Jeffrey Myrtlebank. Jeffrey is about to go to his grave, but during his funeral, he rises up out of the coffin. It's become clear that during his life death limbo, Jeffrey picked up on some extraordinary abilities. This is about someone who is able to sit with themselves. This is about someone who went through a dark night of the soul and came out a very powerful magician with lots of forms of communication that they didn't even know they had before this dark night of the soul. This is someone who rose from the ashes, rose from the grave. This also is about the story of Job. Everyone at the funeral did not this person was buried by others before they were really dead. That is the story of Job. People staying away because they're like, they're on their way out anyways. They ain't coming back from that one. They're not coming back from that hit. Or showing up with useless advice. Some were celebrating. Some were celebrating your time in the coffin. They didn't know you were going to rise from the dead. Surprise! Okay, I like this energy. Who am I talking to? I like this energy. Woo! Somebody came back from the grave with all kinds of extrasensory abilities. There's also someone was there was like an attempt at an unaliving here. But you came back. You came back stronger than ever. Tell me more about this. I like this energy. Ah. Hello, Earth Walking Dream. What's happening? Hi, Amy. Amy, Satan is scared of whoever this is. Whoever I'm talking to here. That came out of a dark night of the soul as an MFN champion. That's what I see in this energy. Tell me more about this dark night of the soul that you went through. And then we're going to talk about your most extraordinary abilities that happened when you rose from the grave and is now freaking people out that were dancing on your grave. That were dancing on your grave. Oh. Okay. Tell me more about this dark night of the soul. That's way too many, man. Don't do that to me. It's way too many. You know I'm getting excited. Ooh, the Empress. Who came back out of the grave as the Empress? From death to life, literally. I mean, the Empress is the mother of the earth. It's the energy of birth. It's the energy of creation. Knight of Cups, Knight of Pentacles. There's a lot of pentacles around as you were going through this dark night of the soul, as you were going through this death that really wanted to keep you up in your head here with the Ace of Swords. Oh, this is about people coming in during a vulnerable time. People coming in during a vulnerable time of the dark night of the soul and coming in with swords, because swords are what people need when they're going through a dark night of the soul, right? Yeah. Tell me more about this. Tell me more about this. These are the people that were dancing on your grave. That were these are people from the past. I'm glad to hear these are people that are now in your past. Okay, they're now in your past after this dark night of the soul. Oh, looming. Look at them looming. The Four of Pentacles, greed. Very greedy, hoping you would not come out of this coffin. They're waiting to take somebody to the bank. The Star. You came out of the dark night of the soul as a star. Tell me about the extraordinary abilities of this star. The Empress, the Queen of Cups. Well, that's everything in the deck when it comes to extrasensory ability right there. The Ace of Swords. You have another page here, the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so there were all these pages hanging out when someone went through a dark night of the soul here. Okay, they were greedily looming and aiming a lot of swords. They didn't expect you to come out of that grave, but you came out of that grave as the High Priestess, the Star, the Empress, the Queen of Cups, and the Ace of Swords. This is every card in the tarot deck. This is literally every card in the tarot deck that would represent a truth of you coming out of a dark night of the soul with all these extra sensory gifts. I think these pages are a little freaked out. Emperor, King of Wands. Why the Emperor and the King of Wands? Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Oh. People are eating their own words. Why do we need to know this? They're more than eating their own words. Why do we need to know this? What does Star Child need to know about this? The Six of Swords, the Five of Wands. Okay. All right. What they're telling me is for someone who came out of the dark night of the soul, okay, there was when you came out of the coffin, it was like surprise. Nobody was expecting it, okay? Clearly nobody was expecting you to come back. There were people that were betting on you not coming back. They held a funeral. And when you came back, it's like an X-Men, right? Or I mean, you just came back as like this. You came back with all of these extra forms of communication, intuition, senses, all of this kind of stuff. I'm sure you had these gifts before, but some of these pages that came in during this time were just straight up ignorant, right? They didn't realize you were going through a dark night of the soul, or they can't empath, they can't like they don't have the empathy to see when someone is going through a dark night of the soul. So there was all this communication. Okay. When you emerge from this dark night of the soul, there was like an attempt to set fire. There was a plan. Somebody planned something very sneaky because they got scared. Okay. They got scared. They got scared because they were greedy and they didn't want you to find out. But you have all these extrasensory abilities. So with the Six of Wands, you moved away. You made a choice to move away from these energies long before these pages, all these pages that were hanging out waiting for your funeral could come back in again. And they're scared. They're a little scared, okay? They don't know how you know what you know. They don't know how you like pull the kibosh on what they premeditated, okay? So in your very High Priestess Star energy here, you got some people freaked out because you literally rose from the grave. But these energies, who cares if they're freaked out? Because here's the thing. They don't seem to have the capacity to understand how absolutely superb and extraordinary this is that you came out of a dark night of the soul, as most people do not. Because they were too busy plotting your demise. They're very in the 3D, right? They're very, very in the 3D. But this is extraordinary how you came out of this dark night of the soul. All of that higher arcana that we saw. And it's beautiful and it's powerful. And then there are some people grinding their teeth at this time because they know you can smell their secrets. I can't figure out how you know. They won't know how you know. And that's okay. Because they were planning your funeral before you were even dead. Congratulations. Congratulations for coming out of a dark night of the soul. All right, let's do one more of these. Let's do one more from the fifth dimension. This was Giz's idea, by the way. The self-improvement of Salvador Ross. Salvador was floating aimlessly through life, decided to turn himself around in order to win the love of Leah Maitland. Ross uses his unique power to swap things, including years of life, for money to win over Leah. This is someone who is changing their North Star, someone who is changing the direction of their manifestations. This is someone who did not feel purpose in their manifestations and has now found their North Star. This is I like this energy because I resonate with it, whether this has to do with a relationship or not. The energy that's coming off of this is like a by any means necessary energy. Like someone is feeling their North Star, someone has found their North Star, and someone is willing to, by any means necessary, manifest it, no matter if that is a swap of time, resources. This is are there things that you are willing to sacrifice in order to go after your North Star? Are you that passionate about your North Star? This is the energy of someone who is very passionate about their North Star right now. Tell me more about this. The unique power of manifestation. The magician always has to have the cup of emotion in order to manifest. There has to be an emotional attachment to the outcome for us to truly manifest something. Because if not, we're like, right? It will go to the back burner. We can be willy nilly about it if we don't feel passionate about it. Willy nilly, who just said that? Where did that come from? Oh, my guys don't talk in that language. Where did that come from? Yeah, emotions, it's very important for emotions to be tied to the outcome. That was funny. Justice. What's the justice about with this manifestation? What's the justice in this manifestation? We like to see the justice card. Tell me more about the justice in this manifestation. Two of Pentacles. This is about a relationship with for some of you, or union with self here. Page of Cups. This is union with self. Okay, because you're pouring the living waters onto pouring the living waters onto self. Okay, there's justice in you being on fire for your star, for what you want to manifest, to having an emotional attachment to the outcome, because this is the energy of someone who's done a lot of self-sacrificing, sacrificing of resource, sacrificing of time. This is why there's been a feeling of aimless floating. This is the energy of someone who has done a whole hell of a lot to help others fulfill their dreams. And in one regard, kudos to you for that. And in another regard, I can feel this like energy of like self-sacrificing one's own dreams, one's North Star, to help others accomplish theirs. But there's this justice in this like Two of Cups union to self here, right? And pouring these living waters back on yourself and having an emotional attachment and being on fire for something that you want to manifest right now. Tell me more about this. Knight of Cups, Six of Swords in reverse. There's someone who's not happy about this. There's someone who's not happy about this. This feels a lot like, I feel like we were just channeling like this kind of the same type of energy earlier. There's someone who does not like you looking the other way. There's someone who does not like there's someone who doesn't like that you're not paying them a ton of attention, okay? And you're putting they like don't want you to detach in this emotional space and transmute these emotions and use them towards what you want to manifest. But you're seeing that as the magician, right? The magician needs that emotional attachment to an outcome. You're feeling very passionate about something and not someone right now, and they're not happy about that. Too bad, too sad. Where did that card go? I have no idea. Tell me more. What more do we need to know about this? Because what's love got to do? Got to do that. Tell me more about this. The Tower. Eight of Pentacles. The World. This has caused a tower. Someone's feeling in a tower because you're putting your effort somewhere else. You closed a cycle here. You closed a cycle. You closed a cycle with someone and chose to go after your dreams. Okay? So why? Why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about this? Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. The King of Pentacles in reverse, the Seven of Swords in reverse, and the Queen of Wands in reverse. Whoever you emotionally walked away from to fulfill your desires here, Empress, to be the Empress of your life, to manifest something that you're really passionate about. This person did not mean you well. Okay? There's a Seven of Swords here, a King of Pentacles in reverse, and a Queen of Wands in reverse. This person was extremely self-serving. This is another energy-sucking vampire. We have lots of energy-sucking vampires coming through tonight. What is up with that? Because they don't live in the fifth dimension with you, in the pursuit of your dreams and the use of your imagination. Some very lower vibrational energies that have been coming through tonight. In the sense of these lower vibrational energies coming up against things that set your heart on fire, things that bring you vitality, things that make you feel alive. People that would plan your funeral rather than give you a hand up. New life and divinity. Because you're on to the new. You're onto so many good things right now, Star Child. There's so many good things in the energy for you. And there are people of your past that rather than learn from you and all of your wisdom, of your dark night of the soul, of breaking free from cultural molds. You're a mirror. You're a mirror that they don't want to look in to when they detach, right? Because it's making them face themselves. And that's why they're coming through. You are regularly on the mind of many people, people that have that cannot touch you energetically. You're not on the same frequency anymore. Your heart's on fire for other things. So I don't know if collectively, I feel like collectively these messages tonight were about letting you know that you're free. You're free to go after these things of your heart. You're free to live your timeline. You're free to live in memento mori. Sometimes the things that we are believed we are supposed to honor are just holding us back. And Star Child, with all of your extrasensory abilities, your innovation and your imagination, holding that back for cultural beliefs that are quite questionable in the end is not fulfilling not only you, but humanity. You being your best self, you writing your fairy tales, you doing your energy healing work has a greater impact in the collective consciousness than catering to a few of these energy vampires. Yes, simply by being yourself, you are a beacon of light. Well, that felt really interesting in the sense of, there's like a lot of energy that is doesn't like you swimming in your imagination and hanging out in the 5D and being the creator of your life. I guess that's like par for the course, right? That's life. But it was very interesting the way there was this weird pull in the energy tonight. So you're on a lot of people's minds. Of course, you're on a lot of people's minds because you're effing fabulous. Okay, and and for some of that stuff that I was channeling in the beginning of the live, some people that might be experiencing some grief right now, please know our hearts go out to you, and it is not easy, but there's something here. There's another chapter. There's another chapter. This next chapter is not about feeling like you have to live the rest of your life honoring the one that passed on, honoring their legacy. You can honor their legacy, but that's not the core of your existence. Your identity is not honoring their legacy, rather creating yours. And that's what I have for you. And that's what I've got for you, Star Child. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Sky Witch, of course, says thank you for hanging out. She's given me the signal. I'm past my 90 minutes. She wants to go for a walk. So, thanks for being here, Bethany. Thanks for being here, Stacy. And I will see you on the other side.